This is the brief on the epic confrontation and cunning strategy involving Chen and Huang Qianzi. Okay, so what's this all about? Well, it details this really intense, high-stakes battle. They're trying to grab a super powerful evolving resource, this blood essence creature, and it's like this close to reaching the near-divine saint stage of power. The big problem? They gotta deal with Huang Qianzi, who's, hands down the strongest genius around. First off, their initial plan to take out this genius, that was a spectacular failure. You had 3 top rivals, including a massive vulture and a dragon-scaled crane, hitting him with everything they had, full power, devastating techniques. But nope, Huang Qianzi just completely dismantles all 3 of them in maybe 10 breaths. It just showed everyone like, wow, the power gap is huge. Second, let's talk about the big moment. How did they actually beat this guy? Well, Chen pulls off this absolutely masterful surprise takedown. He pops up right behind Huang Qianzi and shoves him into this preset spatial array, basically a dimensional trap that Kong Lingyura had set up. One move, and it neutralizes the biggest threat, sending him through a rift. Totally shocked everyone watching, and bam, Chen is suddenly this terrifying tactical player. Finally, with the main rival gone, they had to actually get the creature. Risky strategy time. They actually fed it a bunch of stored energy to force its power level way up to late-stage Celestial Sovereign, a huge jump. But right when it started hitting its final form, they detonated these hidden mechanisms they'd planted inside that energy, crippling it instantly. After about an hour chase, they finally snagged the prize. So, this whole thing wasn't won by just raw power, but by smarts, preparation, and some slick spatial tricks, surprising all the big shots watching this conflict.
This is the brief on Heavenly Emperor's contest. Okay, so we're diving straight into this world of, intense spiritual cultivation. It picks up right after our guy, Chen, gets his hands on this super important item, the blood essence pill. It's this powerful energy source, and his partner, Juyu, really needs it to evolve her special bloodline and, survive. Let's break down the 3 big moments here. First, Chen actually got the pill portions he was promised. But see, his opponents, Kong Linger and her crew, they were just so blown away by how strong Chen was, they immediately cooked up a betrayal. Their big idea was to let loose this other rival they supposedly captured, Huang Qianzi. They were hoping these 2 powerhouses would just wear each other down, right? So they could swoop in and grab the prize. Second, that plan totally backfired. Turns out, Huang Qianzi wasn't really trapped at all. The guy they had was just a clever soul projection, kind of like a decoy, but still packing half his real power. Huang Qianzi shows up, easily takes out the schemers, showing off this massive power difference, and then, he turns his attention straight to Chen. And finally, this sets up the epic showdown we've been waiting for. Chen, from the Futu ancient clan, versus Huang Qianzi, from the Golden Celestial race. Chen knows he's up against someone stronger, so he powers up his ultimate form, the Heavenly Sovereign spiritual body, and uses his clan's special pagoda technique to boost his energy. He's trying to match Huang Qianzi's insane power level. Everyone watching, they're calling it a real dragon versus tiger fight. So these 2 top fighters are finally clashing head-on, and that ultimate prize is still very much up for grabs.
This is the brief on the clash between Chen and Huang Qianzi. So what we've got here is this really intense, high-stakes fight, right? It's Chen versus Huang Qianzi from the Sky Phoenix tribe. And Huang Qianzi? He really wants that immortal Phoenix bloodline. This forces both of them to pull out their biggest, most world-shattering moves. Okay, first takeaway. Huang Qianzi just immediately shows off some scary power. He goes into his true form, this enormous golden sky phoenix, and the pressure is just immense, crushing. His first lightning strike, it actually cracks the fist of Chen's spiritual avatar, the eternal solar god. Now that's a huge deal, because usually even pretty strong cultivators called heaven sovereigns barely scratch that thing. But Chen, he's got an answer. Second point, Huang Qianzi throws out this powerful move, Wings of the Sun and Moon. Chen counters really smartly. He gathers like 800 immortal divine runes, think of them as potent energy seals, fuses them into this giant arrow, and fires it from his avatar. Bam! It punches right through Huang Qianzi's technique, destroys it, and even leaves a little scratch on his forehead before fading. Shows Mu Chen's got the technical edge right off the bat. And finally, things just go absolutely wild. Huang Qianzi, totally humiliated, pulls out his legendary ultimate divine art, the 9 revolving divine wheel. Get this, he unleashes 7 nirvana stages all at once. These are like massive waves of destructive energy. And doing 7? Almost unheard of. Mu Chen counters all 7, using the super energy-draining, great stellar Buddha light. Seeing how tough Mu Chen is, Huang Qianzi immediately hits back with the 8th stage, manifesting the True Phoenix Divine Fan, an artifact that literally vaporized another powerful Heaven Sovereign before.
Seriously? This fight just escalated way beyond a simple duel into a desperate, all-out power struggle.
This is the brief on the clash between Mu Chen and Huang Qianzi. You know, the battle of the heavenly emperors. Okay, so this is all about a super intense duel, right? Mu Chen's pushed, like really pushed to his limits, and he has to pull out all the stops, his best moves, some clever power-ups, just to take down the powerhouse Huang Qianzi. So, how do you actually manage it? Well, first, Mu Chen showed off some insane defense. Huang Qianzi hits him with his crazy strong Phoenix Fire attack, right? And Mu Chen? Totally unharmed. He's got this giant immortal lotus floating there, acting like an unbelievable shield. Huang Qianzi just wasted a ton of energy for nothing. Second, Mu Chen takes this huge risk to catch up. He uses a technique called 3 proofs, 3 merges, basically fusing his clones into himself for a temporary power spike. And get this, it bumps his power level way up, from Ling Heavenly Sovereign all the way to Xian Heavenly Sovereign. Suddenly, he's actually on par with Huang Qianzi. And finally, with their power matched, Mu Chen goes for the win. He unleashes his legendary 8 pagodas technique. This thing summons these fierce demonic spirits, concentrates all that power, and just smashes right through Huang Qianzi's ultimate defense, the 9th Nirvana Phoenix Swirl. Bam! Huang Qianzi goes down hard. So yeah, it was Mu Chen's mastery of these old-school techniques, plus that smart power-up, that really sealed the deal against his tough rival. This is the brief on the aftermath of the battle at the God Elevation Pool, focusing on Mu Chen and Jiyu's evolution. Okay, so we're diving into the fallout from Mu Chen's, impossible win against this major genius, and how that victory immediately boosted 2 key players in the Divine Beast world. You know, this is the kind of win that changes everything, instantly. So what did this victory actually unlock? Let's break it down. First, Mu Chen pulled off this shocking upset against Huang Qianzi at the God Elevation Pool. Remember, Mu Chen was way below Huang Qianzi's level. We're talking a true Phoenix Clan genius at the much higher Saint stage. Mu Chen needed some serious techniques, but he did it. Huge win for him, and definitely boosted the Rockbird clan's reputation. Second, the winnings? Super important for Mu Chen's own power. He grabbed 3 of those virtual Saint-grade blood essence pellets. Really potent stuff, right? And right now he's using them to evolve his own divine beast spirits, the True Dragon and True Phoenix. They're actually inside these giant red eggs, kind of resting and transforming after a whole month of work. And finally, Mu Chen's partner, Jiyu, well, she leveled up right alongside him, used her share of the essence, went through her own evolution on a mountain nearby. Had to face down a massive heavenly calamity, you know, that intense lightning trial for breakthroughs, but she totally nailed it. Emerged as the true immortal bird, a legit great divine beast. So yeah, Mu Chen's incredible success didn't just transform his power, it launched Jiyu straight into the top tier of great divine beasts.